When Vito Corleone's youngest son, Michael, comes home from war, he is greeted by his family who believes him to be dead. And when they discover that he is alive, they are shocked and overjoyed. However, soon after, it becomes clear that Michael has changed, and he wants out of the family business. But his father, Don Vito, is not willing to let him go so easily. In fact, he is furious that Michael has betrayed the family. And now the only way for Michael to escape the clutches of his father is to find love outside of the crime family. But will he be able to do this? Or will he be forced to join the family business? Let's find out in today's episode. The Godfather Part 2 was one of the most anticipated sequels ever made. It had been 8 years since the release of the original film, and fans were eager to see how the story of the Corleone family would continue. The film did not disappoint. It was a critical and commercial success, winning 3 Academy Awards, including Best Supporting Actor for De Niro. Part 2 opens with a flashback to 1917. New York. We see young Vito Corleone immigrating to the United States from Italy. He quickly makes a name for himself in the criminal underworld and eventually becomes the boss of the Corleone family. The film then jumps ahead to 1958, and we see Michael Corleone living a relatively normal life in Nevada. He is married to Kay Adams, and they have 2 children. Michael seems content with his life until his father, Don Vito, is shot. In Part 1, Michael is reluctant to get involved in the family business. But after his father is wounded, he takes over the Corleone operation. Michael is ruthless and efficient, and he quickly expands the family's criminal empire. However, he also becomes increasingly isolated and paranoid. In the end, Michael is forced to kill his brother Frito in order to protect the family's interests. This is a tragic ending for both Michael and the audience, because Frito is the last remaining Corleone brother. Part 3 picks up where Part 2 left off. Michael is now the head of the Corleone family, and he is more powerful than ever before. However, he is also more isolated and paranoid than ever before. Michael's empire is under threat from rival families and from the police, and Michael is desperate to find a way out. He meets with a Vatican representative in an attempt to broker a deal that will allow him to keep his fortune. But the Vatican representative is more interested in power than money, and he double-crosses Michael. Michael's only hope now is to find a legitimate business that he can invest in. He eventually settles on a casino in Nevada. Michael believes that he can make the casino legitimate and use it to launder money for the family. However, he soon discovers that the casino is a front for the police. Michael is arrested and sent to prison. In Part 3, Michael is broken and defeated. He has lost everything, and he has no one left. Spends his days in prison writing letters to his family, but they never respond. The film ends with Michael being released from prison. He is old and frail now, and he has no interest in returning to the family business. As he walks away from the prison, we see that he is truly alone. There is no one left who wants anything to do with him. There is a lot of debate about whether or not Michael Corleone can be considered a tragic hero. On the one hand, he is the protagonist of the story, and we follow him through all 3 films. He is also a complex character who is capable of great love and great violence. However, Michael is also responsible for the deaths of many people, including his own brother. In the end, it is up to the individual viewer to decide whether or not they think Michael is a tragic hero. Many people believe that the reason why Michael is so successful in the family business is because he is cold-hearted and calculating. He is not afraid to get his hands dirty, and he is willing to do whatever it takes to protect the family's interests. This is in stark contrast to his father, who is warm and charismatic. Many people believe that this is one of the reasons why Vito Corleone is such a respected figure in the Mafia. However, there is another reason why Vito is so respected. He is a man of honor, and he always keeps his word. This is not something that can be said about many Mafia bosses. In fact, it is quite rare to find a Mafia boss who is both ruthless and honorable. Vito Corleone is the exception to this rule. He is feared by his enemies and respected by his friends and family. This is what makes him such a compelling character. The Godfather is a story about family. It is the story of a family who is torn apart by the criminal activities of its members. The film follows the Corleone family from 1945 to 1955, and we see how each member of the family is affected by the criminal activities of the others. The film is not just about the Mafia. It is a story about the bonds of family and the lengths to which people will go to protect their loved ones. Vito Corleone is the head of the Corleone family, and he is a powerful mafia boss. He is respected by his enemies and loved by his family. When Vito is shot, his son Michael takes over the family business. Michael is cold-hearted and calculating, and he expands the family's criminal empire. However, he is also responsible for the deaths of many people, including his own brother. Fredo Corleone is Vito's youngest son, and he is the black sheep of the family. He is weak and ineffectual, and he often makes bad decisions. Fredo betrays the family, and this leads to his death. Connie Corleone is Vito's daughter, and she is the most normal of the Corleone children. She is married to a man named Carlo, and they have a daughter together. Connie is killed by her husband because he is a member of the Barzini crime family. Sonny Corleone is Vito's oldest son, and he is hot-headed and impulsive. He takes over the family business when Vito is shot, but he is killed soon after. Wadun is the Corleone family lawyer, and he is one of the most important members of the family. He is the one who advises Michael on how to take over the family business. Tom is killed by Michael because he is a threat to the family's power. Kay Adams is Michael's wife, and she is the only non-Italian member of the Corleone family. She is a beautiful and intelligent woman, but she is naive about the criminal activities of her husband's family. Kay is killed by Michael because she is a threat to the family's secrecy. Santino, Sonny Corleone, Vito's eldest son, is impulsive and hot-headed. He becomes acting boss when his father is incapacitated by an attempt on his life. Sonny is reckless and arrogant, which ultimately leads to his demise. Fredo Corleone, Vito's youngest son, is weak and ineffectual. He turns traitor and aids the Barzini crime family in an attempt to seize control of the Corleone family. Fredo is ultimately killed by his brother, Michael, who views him as a liability and a threat to the family's security. Connie Corleone, Vito's daughter, is married to Carlo Rizzi, a member of the rival Barzini crime family. Her husband's family betrays the Corleones, leading to Connie's murder at the hands of her own husband. Michael's wife, Kay, is initially unaware of the extent of her husband's criminal activities. As Michael becomes more deeply involved in the Mafia, Kay becomes increasingly suspicious and troubled by his behavior. She tries to convince Michael to leave the Mafia, but he refuses. Kay is ultimately killed by Michael, after she threatens to expose his illegal activities to the authorities. Tom Hagen is the Corleone family lawyer and consigliere. He's a brilliant legal mind and provides invaluable advice and counsel to the family, particularly to Michael. Tom is killed by Michael out of fear that Tom's knowledge of the family's illegal activities could be used against them. The Godfather is a classic story about family, honor, and betrayal. It is a must-watch for anyone interested in the Mafia or in great storytelling. Thanks for watching. See you next time.